what you're pointing to, Derek, is something that has certainly been true throughout my 30-year career. And I think this is an important point to notice about business. When you hear the same damn thing, decade after decade after decade, it is very unlikely that what we're talking about is a few bad apples. There's something systemic going on. And I would point to three areas that contribute to this issue that you're talking about. The first is basic human behavior. I think it was it Henry Ford who said, you can't build a reputation on what you're going to do, right? You have to do it. There's a wonderful Italian aphorism, between the saying and the doing lies the ocean. That's basically the
right.
translation. And, that's just true of human beings in general.
Right.
Secondly, if we get to sales in particular, there are very, very important systemic reasons why this is the case in sales. Step back. So many other decisions and resource allocations in most companies depend on sales forecasts and the ability of the sales force to actually meet those forecasts. As a result, sales and sales managers in particular are under pressure. I love this jargon we use in tech, predictable revenue, right? As though that were an act of willpower as opposed to the market. That predictable revenue, that ability to meet the numbers every week, every month, every quarter, generally is reinforced by the metrics in sales. I remember one of the case studies I wrote when I was a brand new professor, and I kept talking about the long term. And this executive looked at me and he said, Frank, let me tell you something about my role in sales. If I don't survive the short term, I don't have to worry about the long term, right? So that's sales. And what that means is that sales managers in particular, they've got to meet those numbers, and they're actually very conservative this way. They may talk innovation, but they're conservative because they have an incentive to stick with the devil they know. Even if it's a rep that's not doing well, I got to move on to the next one. And then the third reason, and I think this is something that the larger companies have to bear some of the blame for, but doing performance reviews, coaching, is a very, very trainable skill. It's not like a lot of things that we talk about in business or in business schools, metaphysics, purpose, whatever that is.
Yeah, nebulous things. Yeah.
But they don't provide training in this. And notice what the transition is in salespeople's careers when they move from salesperson to sales manager. They're moving from an individual contributor role, and usually they've been pretty darn good at that if they're getting promoted. But once you become a manager, by definition, you have to get things done through others. That's where the coaching, the performance reviews, the other things you're talking about are so vital. But that's a tough transition in any line of work, but especially in sales. Most people go into sales because they value the autonomy.
Right.
I make my numbers, they leave me alone.
Friday, I go golfing.
Yeah, single biggest complaint I've heard about sales managers throughout my career, we made Charlie or Charlotte sales manager. They were a great salesperson. They continue to be a great salesperson, but they don't manage. So this issue is part of that larger career transition that is built in to this functional area in business.